Let's go to New York and catch up with Paul Murray's favourite, Ami Horowitz. Welcome to the program.
It's great to be here. What, I'm not your favorite, just Paul Murray's?
Oh, yeah, you're mine as well. Yes, even just for the night, you're mine as well. How have Americans reacted to what's occurred in Kabul? They would appreciate the withdrawal, right?
Yeah, I think most people understand that we didn't want to be there for another 30 years, and that some kind of drawback. And keep in mind, we've been drawing back for years. This is not new. This is just now a full withdrawal. President Trump wanted to have a full withdrawal. But here's the difference. It's all about the execution. What he ended up doing was making the absolute worst foreign policy disaster since Vietnam, and then coupled it with probably the most pathetic mealy-mouthed speech I have ever heard in my life. And Americans have not responded well. In the snap polls they've had, he's down 7% since the withdrawal. And that's significant because for the first time, he is now underwater. He is now below 50% approval rating in the United States because it was an incredible thing to watch. I mean, he stood there and took absolutely, completely, he pushed all the blame away, and he shifted in ways that just didn't track. He blamed President Trump. President Trump, A, isn't president. B, President Trump, yes, he was negotiating a withdrawal, but he had a deal in place with the Taliban.
Yeah.
With very specific steps the Taliban had to take. They didn't fulfill those steps. In other words, he would not have withdrawn. But knowing they haven't taken those steps, knowing they weren't a real partner, he just left. And then he blamed the Afghans, which is so sad. I mean, the Afghans have been there taking the brunt of the death and the fighting in the last 2 years. We haven't had an American death there in almost 2 years. The Afghans have lost 50,000 people over the last 7 years. And the reason why, people are wondering, well, how did it fall so quickly? We spent $1 trillion. We spent 20 years training them. That's true. But the reason why it fell is because we trained them in a very specific way. We trained them to do it in concert with air power, American air power. But we took all that away. It was just sad to see. And then, of course, he ran out of there like he was trying to catch the last plane out of Kabul. I mean, it was pathetic.
It was pathetic. What are the American people saying about lending a hand to get others, evacuated from Kabul?
The American people the American people are solidly behind making sure that our people are out, that the journalists, the people who are there lending a hand are out, and importantly, making sure our allies and our friends who risked their lives while we were there to help us, and certainly are sentenced to death if we leave them there. I think Americans are solidly behind that and bring them to the United States.
Inexplicable.